Hello and welcome to the last spotlight of the year, shining on a little stable of creativity.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
This evening it's council members and silver foxes as we catch up at last with two new members, newish anyway, of the Arts Council, as we've been promising to do for months. And also a catch up with the wandering Scouser with the heart of gold, aka the Silver Fox, Bill Booth, as he drops by the island on his increasingly frequent visits to promote his new book, all of course in the name of charity. Remember, do get in touch with any creative artistic endeavours you might be involved in, planning, hoping to create, or would really like to put into the spotlight. Be they poetic, theatrical, musical, literary, ceramic, sculpture, drag, film, mime, social media, crafting. Might come to that a bit later. Get in touch now, get in touch in the new year. Email spotlight@manxradio.com or Howard Kane with an E at manxradio.com. We like to keep you up to date on this programme, on the happenings at our sponsor, the Isle of Man Arts Council. Tell you more about what they're up to, what they're doing, highlight sponsorship opportunities they provide, profile the various members. Earlier this year, two new members joined the council as previous members came to the end of their tenure, and we've been trying to catch up with the two new members ever since. But of course, they're very busy people. I'm busy people. And despite our best efforts, it just hasn't managed to happen. And then, like buses, well, not like buses on the Isle of Man, of course, we got two at once. So we'll end the year with a brace of Arts Council members and a brief chat to both. And sticking with tradition, it's ladies first.
Hello, my name's Fiona Edwards and I've recently joined the Isle of Man Arts Council. I've always been interested in the arts, even from when I was a child. I learnt to play the clarinet as a child and I was in a band. And then I moved to the Isle of Man when I was in my 20s. And obviously I had to start again making friends and, establishing myself. So I started off with girl guiding, volunteering for that, did a bit of sporting activities. And then as I've got older, I feel that I've come back to the arts in terms of things that I enjoy doing, both as a participant and as an observer, like a member of the audience. So I feel that I've got a very broad interest in the arts, both musical, performing, but I'm not a performer.
I was going to say, you mentioned music there, so have you got a musical background or what was it?
So I played the clarinet as a child and then I didn't play for a long time, as most adolescents give up playing instruments. And then I learnt to play the cornet.
Oh, okay.
With Castletown Training Band. So Castletown Metropolitan Silver Band have got a training band. And I joined the band as an adult. And I was taught the cornet by Barbara Cole. And I'm still playing the cornet.
Okay, with the same band?
I'm with Crosby Band now.
Ah, right. So you come from a good brass band tradition, or come to a place where there's a good, strong brass band tradition on the Isle of Man. So I think that's always been very, very good. But have you done, like I said, you say you like going to theatre, but by and large you haven't had a theatrical background?
No. So I love going to the theatre, in particular musical theatre. So I love singing and dancing. But I've never actually done any acting or singing or dancing. I am very interested in making things. So crafting, so I enjoy embroidery. I'm a self-taught embroidery artist. I like crocheting and making crafts from like recycled materials. So at the moment I've got a thing about recycling silk. I was a member of Manx Embroiderers and Stitchers, and also I'm involved with the brass band community. So I did follow a lot of the arts groups anyway on Facebook, and then I started to see the content from the Arts Council. But I've also got two friends that are on the council. So one is a colleague from years ago and one is one of my current work colleagues, and we just started a conversation about what the Arts Council does for the Isle of Man and that they were looking for some new members.
So did they actively encourage you to apply then, or?
Not really, no. It was just like mentioned in passing, And then I went onto the website and had a look at the application process to see if I thought it was for me.
And now that you're there, you can go to the Arts Council site now, see your picture, and we need to get a profile up for you. Actually, I was trying to see if there's a profile there, but I couldn't find one. But you're there now on the council. Anything like you thought it was going to be then?
Not really. When we have a full council meeting, you know, the subject matter is so broad and we talk about so many different things, and I feel that I'm learning a lot of new things. So, for example, we were talking about sound equipment one week, and some of the terminology was completely new to me. So then I went away and researched it so that I understood it better, you know, for myself. And we're getting, you know, we talk about applications from people that want to make music videos, people that want to buy sound equipment to improve like theatres or art centres, artists that want to do a collection or a show, a lot of dance troupes that want to travel off island for competing, and then obviously all the drama side, people that want to put on shows, things that are involving young people, so it like dovetails with education. So the subject matter is really broad and a lot different to what I expected.
And what do you think you bring to the table?
As a creative person myself, I feel that I understand where the drive to create comes from. And some people that are not creative, I don't think they really appreciate that it's like a fairly overpowering feeling if you've got this urge to make things or paint or dance or sing, and you need an outlet for that. And obviously you need support, and it's good for the wider community and enhances other people's lives if you've got, you know, plenty of creativity in your life. So I think that I bring probably an understanding of why people want to do what they're doing. And then I understand that, you know, making is sometimes, it takes a long time, especially things like embroidery and hand stitching and, you know, painting. It's very involved. It needs a lot of skill and patience, and it's time consuming. And so then you can appreciate what people are actually asking for in terms of support and understand whether it's realistic or not. You know, if somebody wanted to run a workshop to teach people how to embroider, but they were going to invite 30 people and there was one teacher, then straight away I would know that that was impossible. So it's these kinds of being able to make a judgment in terms of what's reasonable and what's doable.
And do you think your perception of the council has changed from being someone, like sort of observing the council from outside and now being actually part of the Arts Council? Do you think it's changed your perception of what the Arts Council is, its role within Manx society, what it actually does?
I think so, yes. Yeah.
For better or for worse?
For better.
And how do you think that has changed then? Do you think it's how do you sort of perceive it's changed? Do you see it being more actively involved within the community, or the way, as you say, that it funds various strands that you might not have known of hitherto?
Yeah, I think it's active involvement in the community. You know, the levels of funding that are available. You know, I was quite surprised that the funding that's available is sometimes fairly substantial amounts of money. You know, that's a really good thing for the people of the Isle of Man. If you've got an ambitious project that's going to benefit a lot of people, then apply for the funding. And even if you don't get all of it, if you get part of it, you know, you're well on your way then to making your project into a reality. And
just finally, anything that you'd like to sort of push or encourage or sort of see develop more during your tenure on the council, within the arts bracket, of course?
I think one thing that a lot of people perceive about art is that you've got to be good at something before you can try it. But I don't believe that that's actually true. I think a lot of the creative process of just trying to do something and just starting is very valuable. And I would like to get that message out to the people of the Isle of Man, and do some, like, come and try sessions, and even go back to like things that people might think were like for children to do, like collage or sponge painting, or just to get people back into that way of thinking and making things and doing things with the hands, and not to be afraid of it.
Crafting of whatever sort, needlework, quilting, cross-stitch, embroidery, etc. It's something which we cover all too rarely here on Spotlight, so perhaps with Fiona as its champion, we might hear more about this lesser heard side of the island's art scene in 2025.
Spotlight, brought to you by the Isle of Man Arts Council.
Now, we'll break up our 2 Arts Council chats with a little festive catch-up with the Silver Fox, a.k.a. Paddington, a.k.a. Billy Booth, or Bill Booth. Regular listeners will know I bumped into Billy a few months back, purely by chance at Manx Radio, as he was on the Isle of Man from his home across the way in Liverpool. Since retiring, Bill has dedicated his time to raising money for charity, particularly Zoe's Place and Kind. And just a few days ago, I caught up with him again as he was on the island to promote his latest fundraising book, Walk of Life. He also goes on travels around the world with his mascot, Paddington Bear, and that's going to be the theme of his forthcoming children's book. You're back on the Isle of Man again. I've just got a lovely book you presented to me in front, Walk of Life. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing back on the island now.
Right, so I'm working now. We have a link now with Rebecca Hospice, along with the 2 charities that I work for in Liverpool, Kind and Zoe's Place. This year, or probably next year, 2025, I hope to be doing book signings on the island, reference Rebecca House. I've donated a selection of books today, which they're going to put in all of their shops. And then I'm looking next year to do book signings. I'll be able to talk in Mencap or any of the homes they have available if they want me to talk, and really just make myself known on the island, because my going forward now, I think I like to do a lot of work with Rebecca House and, try and I've just had a meeting with John and Catherine. They said, yeah, we can furnish all the shops with the books, Bill, and let's just kick it now and see where we go. For 2025.
That's terrific. So just give us a little bit of background then, because you're saying you got the link up with the Rebecca House, and of course you've been working with Zoe's Place for a long time.
And Kind, yeah.
And Kind, yeah. How did that start out?
Well, I think it was about, we had 30 or 40 charities that we were supporting through our business in Liverpool, our hairdressing chain, and we had to dwindle them down, so we dwindled it down to 2, Kind and Zoe's Place. And then Stephen Yip, the founder of Kind, said to me, Bill, you've got a book in you. I said, how do you work that out? And he said, well, you've had a checkered life. I said, partly checkered, partly free. But he said, yeah, so I wrote book 1. And then book 2 came easy, book 3, book 4, book 5, book 6. And I've now just published book 7, Walk of Life.
And I've got a copy in front of me. It looks absolutely brilliant with, beautifully produced and sizable as well. It's a good size, a real sort of good coffee table looking book. Lots of illustrations. Haven't had a chance to go through it yet, but I most certainly will do. And as you say, it's gone from 1 up to 7, and here you are, as you were saying, now already working on a couple of other books which you're hoping to bring out, in tandem, round about in May 2020?
Yeah, one's a children's book. I've been working on that. It's like I've been on a journey with the bear and the...
This is Paddington.
Paddington and the T-shirt. So my kids call me the Silver Fox. I don't know why, but they call me the Silver Fox. And we've gone on this journey. So everywhere I've been in 2024, we took the bear with us, the T-shirts. So I'm going to collate a children's book. All the proceeds will go to the charity. And I've titled it Paddington and the Silver Fox Navigate the Globe.
Right, so this is based on, because as you were saying the last time we were chatting, you never really stay still, do you? You're always on the go.
I've been on this island 11 times this year.
Which is pretty good going.
And I go everywhere. Look, I was at sea most of my life. We've had numerous businesses. I probably had 30 jobs. I can wear 3 hats if you like. I'm a chef, okay? I'm a hairdresser, which my wife trained me for 8 years, and I'm also a writer. So I can wear any one of them 3 hats. Wherever I go in the world, I'm sure I'll never starve. I'll always get a job.
And the book so far, so like Walk of Life here, this sort of, in many ways, they're books about your life and your experiences in life.
From 10 years of age, all the seventh book of Walk of Life illustrates everything from 10 years of age, all our entrepreneurial traits when we were kids down Scotland Road in Liverpool, and so on and so forth. I'm sure a lot of Scousers on the island will be, aware of the situation them days in the 60s and 70s when there was a lot of poverty, the slum clearance, etc., etc. And yeah, it's a massive journey from 10 years of age up to present day and still going forward, really. There's not everything's included in it. I tell the truth, everything's in it. There's a lot of abuse, but not a physical abuse, abuse with alcohol, which every seaman has. If you go away to sea and you're a seaman, you'll have a problem with drink somewhere down the line. And it's all illustrated in the book. And I think the book is a good read. And especially for, expats and so on all around the world. They're flying out in Australia and New Zealand and so on. Yeah.
And just remind us, so the 8th book, so you've got the children's book, and what's the other one coming out in tandem with that?
In Liverpool, everyone associates the Three Graces with what goes on the waterfront on the Pear Head, but I brought another three graces into the equation, which is 3 churches which are prominent in Liverpool, which is St Anthony's on Scotland Road, St Polycarp's on Netherfield Road, and St George's on Everton Road. And I think that Liverpool 5, that area where them 3 churches are, is the very heart of Liverpool. The real Scousers come from there, all your comedians, all your singers, all your boxers, all your footballers. And it's where it all started, really, because you had your potato famine. Everyone came into Scotland Road, Vauxhall Road, and all them areas in Liverpool 5, where I think the real crux of Scouse originated. And that's why I've emphasised them 3 churches. I can build a story around them 3 churches. So that book is going to be called Liverpool's Other 3 Graces.
Magic.
And of course the kids book as well. I'll push that out in May as well, along with that one.
And of course all these raising money for charity.
Everything, everything. I mean, I don't know what I've raised. I'm not really bothered, really, but the likes of Zoe's and Kind, which is close to my heart. It always has been. Stephen Yip's a friend of mine. And now with Rebecca House and John, and his wife Angela, and of course Catherine, who runs the charity shops, I think I can work close with them. I think I'd raise a lot of money for Rebecca's House next year.
Terrific. And if people want to get a copy of Walk of Life, the 7th one, which is out now, where can they get that?
Well, now they're in the Isle of Man now. They'll be in all Rebecca's charity shops.
Brilliant. It's well worth a read. I'm certainly going to have a read. There's some great illustrations there as well. If you've got any interest in Liverpool, if you're a Scouser at heart, if you're a true Scouser, or anything in between, you'll have an interest in that. Even if you're not, you'll still find it a good read. I'm certain something going on there. Always been a close link between Liverpool and the Isle of Man. Lovely to see you on the Isle of Man again. You think you were house hunting last time, or thinking about moving around? Was anything happening on that front?
Well, my kids keep turning around to me and saying, "Well, why are you going to the Isle of Man? Why don't you go to Marbella?" And I've got a lot of friends on the Isle of Man now. I was back in the day in the Majestic, and of course me and Cathy had our honeymoon in Mona Drive, in the Glen Mona.
Yeah.
I said, so I have that association. Cathy's been gone 3 years now, so I just want to come back to the Isle of Man. I have a lot of friends here, and I think it's a nice place. Lovely place.
Well, listen, great to catch up with you again. Have a very happy Christmas, and no doubt we'll chat again in 2025.
Thank you, Howard.
His work rate for charity is prodigious. His latest book, the one he gave me a signed copy of, Walk of Life, certainly doesn't pull its punches on the ups and downs of his life, as he mentioned. Check it out. Now, the second of our Art Council new members, well, maybe not so new, but a first chat regardless, Peter Shimon, a familiar face to many, whether from his acting work or, of course, heading up Kensington Arts for several years before he moved on.
So officially I was appointed in kind of August, September time, and to begin with you kind of go along to 1 or 2 of the meetings to get a flavour of it, and then I kind of officially became on board properly and able to contribute from October. So yeah, it's still quite new, learning the ropes, but really enjoying it so far.
Okay, and what was your for you, what was the reason for actually to come and put yourself forward to join the council?
I think the Isle of Man Arts Council, I've known a lot about them from being younger. A lot of shows that I got involved with when I was young. Makes me sound like I'm very old. Had Isle of Man Arts Council support. I then worked at Kensington Arts, which is part of the Department of Education, Sport and Culture, and my line manager there was Jane Corkle, the Arts Development Manager.
Yeah, we chat often over the years we were there, yeah.
And so I guess my awareness of the Arts Council became even more so when I worked there. I then moved on from Kensington, and that kind of stayed with me, that idea of wanting to know more about the Arts Council, wanting to be able to contribute more to arts and culture on the Isle of Man. So I applied for it. I went for the interviews. I kind of talked a bit, I suppose, about my experience as an actor. I worked professionally as an actor after graduating. My experience on the Isle of Man and further abroad with theatre, I think, gives me a great experience to bring to the table. And it was just a period of change for the Arts Council. A few members retired, a few people left. So it was a great opportunity to add my insights, I suppose, add what I wanted to bring to the table, and really just find out more about it, find out more about what's going on broadly across the spectrum of the arts in the Isle of Man, and be able to support people.
And that was, you said there, that's your background, so you did actually do drama and train and work as an actor on the professional scene?
Yeah, I did a 3-year acting degree down in Bournemouth, and then my friends always take the mick out of me. I always say that I moved to Barcelona and I did a theatre and education job.
Well, sounds good to me.
It was good, yeah. It's a good one for the CV as well. I lived in Barcelona and performed shows in English to help kids learn English. And then I moved back to the UK. I did a pantomime tour. I did a 5-month pantomime tour. Ooh. Which is longer than anybody needs to do a pantomime for. So slightly broke my spirit, but did that for a long time. And then I moved to London. I was in London for about 5 years, kind of working as a jobbing actor, doing anything and everything in between auditions. Like,
I think you have to, don't you?
Yeah, I worked on a fragrance counter. I handed out flyers at a tube station. I did all sorts of stuff whilst, trying to get the gig. And then COVID hit in 2020 and I decided to move home and decided to stay ever since and look at how I can then apply the knowledge that I've learned over these years to the Isle of Man art scene as well.
What do you think the actual Arts Council brings to the table on the Isle of Man there? Because it's been around for a long time, and is sort of, you will find, like all things in life, I guess, you'll find its detractors and you'll find its massive supporters. Where do you think it sort of sits within the sort of art sphere on the Isle of Man? What does it bring to the arts for the island?
Yes, I suppose fundamentally for me, the Arts Council is a funding structure, right? A lot of people want to do and want to create art on the Isle of Man and maybe are not in the financial position to be able to support it themselves. The Arts Council gives that opportunity for people who have ideas, a vision, want to express themselves creatively. We provide a structure for people to apply to get support, either getting that off the ground or developing a project they already have into something bigger. So in terms of providing funding, that's a really important part for us, and there's obviously quite clear guidelines about what funding can be applied for, which including, I think a really great thing that we do is the student awards and being able to support young people going and continuing their education in the arts. So looking at that kind of financial support for people, but I think we're also a great advocate for artists across the Isle of Man. We've got an artist directory on the website. We're obviously quite active on social media, and we attend events. We run events ourselves that encourage people, I guess, to collaborate. We like connecting people together who maybe have an idea over something to do, and then they can be connected with someone who's got a similar idea and see what we can help to facilitate. Not that the Arts Council really project manages people's creative endeavours, but I believe the Arts Council, and particularly the arts team who work within Desk, are really great and valuable support for those people who are looking for guidance and advice around either getting started or developing their career in the arts.
Anything specific that you would like to sort of try and sort of work on or push through in your term on the council?
At this point, no. I suppose one really big thing for me at the moment is the learning experience. Having been quite dedicated and get a lot of knowledge around theatre and the performing arts is one thing, but arts is a whole spectrum, right? And I got a flavour of that when I worked at Kensington, and we had, creative writers and visual artists and musicians. I'm, sitting on a panel of people from a wide range of backgrounds within the arts who have the same kind of passion that I do for theatre in their own art area. So being able to input and learn more about these different arts experiences that are happening across the island is, somewhat selfishly really great for my own cultural appreciation and being able to find out what's going on. But I think that it makes you a better artist yourself if you understand the different, creative spectrum.
And you're still super active on the art scene yourself, and that's we were talking to you with your another hat on last week about Centre Stage. You're doing the Calendar Girls coming up, directing that, so you're still very active yourself within the theatrical movement on the island.
For my sins, yes. We're very fortunate in the Isle of Man to have a very active theatre community. There's lots of musicals, lots of plays. I've worked behind the scenes and I've worked on stage since I moved back in 2020 for a couple of the different societies and groups, and I love it. It's my original passion. It's what I started out doing. It's what I went to university to study. It's what I tried to do professionally, and we're spoilt for choice, I think, around the number of shows that are happening on the island, the number of people who are involved who have a huge amount of experience, whether professionally or in the amateur world. You can learn a lot from them. People of all different ages getting involved in theatre is still really enjoyable to be a part of. There are moments on a rainy December night where you wish you hadn't signed up to so many things
why
and
am I doing this? Yeah.
drag yourself over. But I think that at the end of it, I'm, whether it's seeking the validation of the audience clapping at the end of performance or what, but it is a hobby, it's a social experience, and it's a creative outlet at the end of the day, and I am still really committed to that. So yeah, you'll see me in a few things next year, no doubt.
Great to catch up with Peter at last with his new hat on, or at least one of them. That's about it for this week. If you want to hear anything again, go to manxradio.com, download the Spotlight podcast, listen where and when you want. Why not try it whilst trying to blue-tack Christmas cards to the wall? You can't do that with Facebook cards. This is the last Spotlight of 2024, of course. Thanks ever so much for listening through the year, and may I wish you all a very happy Christmas and a peaceful and healthy New Year. We'll be back in 2025, the 8th of January, if memory serves correct, when we'll be speaking to that king of puns and one of the best-known comedians on the scene in recent years, soon to come to the Isle of Man, Milton Jones. See you then, and whatever you're doing, be creative about it. A happy Christmas, and Emu.